The Toronto Raptors have moved up to the 4th overall pick in this year's NBA draft. An absolutely amazing night for any Toronto Raptors fans, including myself, moving up into the top 4 of this draft, getting one of the top 4 players. Of course, Cade Cunningham will go first to the Detroit Pistons, and full congrats to the Pistons on acquiring that number 1 overall pick and adding themselves a franchise-altering player in Cade Cunningham. But the top 4 in this draft is so strong. Jalen Suggs, Jalen Evans, Jalen Green, as well as Evan Mobley being the next 3 following Cade Cunningham. And Toronto Raptors are going to get to choose whoever of those 3 do not get taken. And you just really, as a Toronto Raptors fan, I'm absolutely ecstatic. As you can tell, some of my wording right now is very poor. I do apologize. I'm just a very excited Toronto Raptors fan. Obviously, I had hoped going into tonight that we were going to be able to get a top 4 pick. But to be able to get that now, after such a tough season, playing on the road essentially the full season, in what was such a weird season, to now be able to head into the next season, most likely playing back in Toronto, with most of the team back healthy, barring Siakam maybe missing a bit of the start of the season, we're going to be able to add what most likely is going to be a very good guard, alongside Fred VanVleet, Malachi Flynn, and hopefully Gary Trent Jr., assuming we can re-sign him. It's going to be an absolute plethora of 4 good guards there to build around for the Toronto Raptors, and gives a very elite talent to start building this team around as we start to retool and rebuild into a playoff team again this upcoming year. But that's just my thoughts on the Toronto Raptors. I'm a Toronto Raptors fan, and I had to give that note first. And for all those Toronto Raptors fans, just give me some excitement down in the comments if you're watching this. We're all excited. We're all excited. We have to be. This is a great night to be a Toronto Raptors fan. With that being said, Detroit Pistons are obviously the winners of the lottery. They had one of the best odds going into it, and they do get the 1st overall pick. They get a franchise-altering player, and this is really big for Detroit. Cade Cunningham is going to be very good for them. They're not going to be completely terrible next year unless they make some big shifts in the roster. Now, they're not going to be a playoff team, in my opinion, but they're not going to be someone that's bottom 3 in the league again, I don't think. They're going to have Saddiq Bey a year better, Isaiah Stewart a year better, Jeremy Grant still on the team, and now you add Cade Cunningham to this mix. Hopefully Killian Hayes can stay healthy and he can have a first complete season in the NBA. There's a lot of talent on this team. Killian Hayes is probably coming off of the bench. They just took him in the 1st round last year. He was supposed to be their point guard of the future. Cade Cunningham's probably coming off the bench now. You'll probably see a backcourt of Saddiq Bey and Cade Cunningham, unless one of those guys move to the 3. I don't see it. And so that's probably what you're looking at for Detroit. So Detroit fans, enjoy this tonight. Celebrate. Drink if you're of age. Do your thing. You have to be happy with how things have gone tonight if you are a Detroit Pistons fan. Also moving up into the draft, well, I guess we could see Saddiq Bey at the 3, actually. Take that back. Maybe we do see Killian Hayes at the 1, Cade Cunningham at the 2, Saddiq Bey at the 3. We'll see. That's definitely possible. A lot of options. The point is, there's a lot of options in Detroit, and that's going to be a great thing now. They're looking a lot better than they were a year or 2 ago when they're rebuilt. Houston, of course, getting the 2nd overall pick is very good for them as well. They would have loved the 1st overall pick, but they'll be able to... Honestly, they like Christian Wood. I don't know if they're going to take Evan Mobley. They seem to really think Christian Wood's their guy. They may end up taking one of the Jalens there at number 2, and then Evan Mobley might fall to Cleveland at number 3. Now, they also have Jarrett Allen, so I don't know how interested they are in him either. I mean, if I'm a Toronto Raptors fan, I would love Evan Mobley to fall to number 4, because, God, could we need a center, and could we use a center? But I would think that he goes to one of those 2 teams. I just don't know who's going to want him, because the fit is a bit questionable for both, given that some of the rest talent is there. But Cleveland also have a lot of backcourt depth as well as it is. They're trying to get rid of Colin Sexton, so it's quite possible that we see them draft the best player on the board at that point, which could very well be Evan Mobley. One of the bigger winners of the night on the draft as well is also the Cleveland Cavaliers, who had, I believe, the 5th best odds going into tonight, and they jump into the 3 spot, so they're going to get a nice player out of it as well. Moving up in front of the Raptors and the Cavs and the Pistons being the 3 best winners of the night. For me personally, Orlando getting the Chicago pick is very crucial for them as well. Chicago did not move into the top 4, and so Orlando do get that pick via the Nikola Vucevic trade. So now Orlando get themselves a nice 8th overall pick to add to the 5th overall pick that they will have in this year's draft. So they're going to have 2 top 8 picks. They could use that to try and trade up, or they're just going to add 2 very good talents to a very good rebuild they are starting to develop in Orlando, with Markelle Fultz and Jonathan Isaac now coming back from injury this year. There's a lot to like about the Orlando Magic moving forward. Golden State also had to be considered one of the bigger winners of the lottery tonight as well. Golden State, of course, were not going to be able to retain that Minnesota pick if it fell into the top 3 or the top 4, one of those two. And it fell at 7, so Golden State will have that Minnesota pick as well as their own pick at 14. They have 2 first-round picks. Now they can now package along with Andrew Wiggins and or James Wiseman into a trade package that they can then use to acquire another star on this team if that is what they choose to do so. A lot of options for Golden State now, and they're going to be hoping to make that move this summer, with hopefully Klay Thompson coming back healthy and ready to roll to make themselves a contender and try and resume the dynasty that they once had with Curry and Klay at the center of it. As far as the biggest losers on the night, it probably has to be OKC. There was hopes for OKC that they were going to be able to have the 1st and the 5th overall pick tonight. It would be their own, being the 1st, and Houston falling out of the top 4, meaning OKC would get that pick, and then falling to get that 5th overall pick. Ultimately, OKC drop all the way down to 6. They'll still get a good player here, but they would have liked to have a top 5 pick of their own, and then, of course, have that extra pick from Houston. It's not going to be that way, but Oklahoma City are not concerned here. They could move up in a package with some of their other first-round picks, or they can just add and just start adding talent and adding talent. And they just have a war chest of picks still. It's not really a grave concern for OKC, but they definitely had to be one of the bigger losers on the night alongside Minnesota, who ultimately do not get to keep their pick, even though they were one of the worst teams in the league this season. Chicago as well, obviously a loser on the night, but everyone else, you can't really be mad. No one else, any of the teams at the back of the lottery, you're not a loser, you just didn't win. And then Toronto, Cleveland, and Detroit being the biggest winners of the lottery. I just can't wait for the season now. I was already just looking forward to next season to get the Raptors back in Toronto, healthy, hopefully in a better scenario. You get a full season of Gary Trent, get Malachi Flynn second year, another year development of OG, see who they can bring in at center. But now we're going to have probably one of the Jalens in Toronto as well. I'm just very excited. Toronto fans, just show me your excitement. I'm still in a bit of disbelief, to be completely honest, but I am so happy that we are back in the top 4 of the lottery. It is our first time we have drafted number 4 since we drafted Chris Bosh, a many-time All-Star. I hope that's what we get again. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed lottery night for whatever team it is you cheered for or support. You guys have a great rest of your day. I will be coming up tomorrow with my thoughts on what the Cade Cunningham acquisition will mean for the Detroit Pistons, assuming they take him at number 1, along with many other What's Next videos previewing the offseason for many of these teams in the lottery now that they've picked has settled, and what they could try to do in the draft, trades, and free agency throughout the next couple of months in the offseason. If that is something you're interested in, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for when those videos come out. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.